Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm John.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Steve.
Episode 7, titled The Shrine of Choosing. I'm not even going to attempt to guess that one.
How could you?
I know. Usually we can kind of guess, but that one's tough.
Not today,
No.
old chap.
I mean, my best guess would be obviously some type of shrine. Mau Mau's going to have a choice.
Like to choose something?
But who is it going to be? Is it going to be Mau Mau or...
Pretty solid guess.
It's going to be Mau Mau. It could be Jinshi, too.
Yeah, it's probably not
He
Mau
has to
Mau.
make a choice. Odds are it's Mau Mau, but, every now and then they throw a
Could be anybody else,
curveball.
too. It could be...
That bitch Sue Ray, because she's coming back.
Could be. You never know.
I know. Where did we last leave off? It was Mau Mau. Oh, Laulin's pregnant,
Yeah.
right? We're just trying to figure out who's the one
The other
spreading.
one was trying to make the abortion
Her
medicine.
cousin, yeah. But there's still somebody else out there, apparently, that was teaching people how to do it.
Yeah, you think it was Suray?
Well, she's a strong possibility. Because I think she's going to factor in at some point here.
Right. We'll see.
Yep. We're going to be done with this before you know it.
What is this?
7.
Yeah.
And I think they just put out like 17 or 18, something like that. Just came out. Oh, it's Maushi.
Mouse.
No.
Young Jinshi.
Ooh, is that the,
Was that Dua or was that the...
no.
Dao?
It's probably the Dowager. Is that the last Emperor, you think?
あの老人はあの老婆は誰だったのだろう。うまく思い出せない。
Damn it. Teasing us with that shit.
You think he still has that thing?
One would think. Yes.
Yeah, he's just mediocre. He wakes up and immediately starts training.
Like that.
あの老人と老婆が何者なのか、あの頃は知る由もなかったが、後に教えられた。
Oh.
老人は父で、老婆は祖母だった。
What?
そして、ずっと父だと思っていた男は兄だということも。
Oh. That was the ruse, though, right?
The switcheroo.
ところで鈍いあの女官でもそろそろ気づくはずだ。
Hmm.
もしくはすでに。だったら気が楽なんだが。
Yeah, I don't think Jinshi even knows. Like some of the comments were
I
hinting
think they
at.
just switched him. But he is his son, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
If he grew up thinking he was his son the whole time,
I
then all of a
think
sudden
only Duo
switched
knew.
to thinking he was the brother.
その民たちは長を持たなかったが、藤吉より尊い血筋の女性がやってきて、その腹に天の子を宿した。それがリーの最初の皇帝となられた。月のない夜も見通せる目を持った女性は、やがて王母と呼ばれ、旋回から降りてきた女仙とも言われた。
Damn, that's good.
この国の建国の昔話か。
どうだ、薬屋。
人士様、顔が見えてしまいます。おっと。せっかく勉学に勤しんでいるのに、こんな生き物が覗いていたら勉強に
This
ならない。
creature.
生徒は20名ほどですか。
もっと集まるかと思ったんだがな。
私はもう少し見学していきます。
そうか。気になったことがあれば報告してくれ。
わかりました。
Wakarimashita.
シャオラン。
Oh, yeah, you're getting good.
I know.
ママ来てた
I enunciated well
の？
there.
少しは字覚えた？
まだまだだよ。
Thanks to Mau Mau.
また先生に聞きに行かないと。ママも一緒に行こ
That girl's voice is
う。
so
隣の
cute.
塔に先生がいてね。時々聞きに行ってるんだ。
古い廟。
Of choosing?
Is that where you choose?
あれはこの地にもともと住んでいた民が作った廟だよ。王母様はこの地を治める際に古い信仰を拒まなかったんだね。
王母様ってさっき習った初代皇帝のお母さん？
そう、王母様は息子にこう伝えたんだ。この地を治める者はあの廟を通り抜けないといけない。そして正しい道を選んだ者だけがこ
Well,
の地
Jinshi, start
の長
walking.
となる。 息子は無事あの廟を通り抜け皇帝になったというわけだ。今後も使われるかどうかね。
どういうことですか？
先の主将先帝の兄君たちはみんな流行り病で倒れただろ
A
う。
bad omen.
残ったのは先帝のみ。
通過儀礼を行うまでもなく決まったというわけ
Oh.
か。
あれに興味を持ってくれる子がいて嬉しいよ。随分と久しぶりだ
Leave
ね。
it to Mau Mau.
昔は興味を持つ方がいたんですか？
ああ、昔ここにいた医官が変わり者で暇があったら高級内をうろうろしてたよ。今のお前さんみたいにあの病のことも
それって両面。
知ってるのか。
しまった。つい
Yeah, Mau Mau, careful.
養父です。
Oh.
高級を出た後は花町で薬屋を営んでおりまして、
そうか、ローメンの。
この人は親父と仲が
Seems
良
like a
かっ
cool
たんだろうか。
見て、かけた。
お、
Wonder what she wrote.
僕はございません。
Uh oh.
失礼いたします。
Oh, remember when he was thinking about
この
something?
後行
We
く
were
ところへ
wondering.
ついてきてほしいのだ。
Oh
ど
shit.
ちらへ？
選択の秒へ。
Oh. What a quinky dink.
Right?
もう一度チンが通ってもいいのかな。
何度来られても同じかもしれませんが、それでもよろしければ。
What's in there though? Like you have to cross it.
I'm assuming it's. I kind of thought it was like a
お家
maze.
はどうなった？
Maybe.
では、この二人で。
This is gonna be fun. Yeah.
三つの扉。
It's like an escape
赤
room.
き扉通るべからず。扉の色は青。
This is right up Mau Mau's alley though.
青か
Puzzle.
緑を選べってことか。
どの扉を選びますか？
青にしよう。前は緑を選んだからな。
さようでしたね。ではこちらへ。
I wonder if there's a way through each door, but it's like a different path each time, you know? You have to figure out.
また三つの扉。緑、茶、水色。次は茶の扉を通るべからず。
緑にしよう。
まさか。
You know, eventually Mau Mau's gonna have to be like, I wouldn't do that.
同じところをぐるぐる回っているような気もする。帝はどうして私を連れてきたんだろう。
For a reason,
早く終わ
obviously.
らないもんか。
これが最後の扉だな。
次の扉は青、紫、木で。
木を選ぶ。
よろしいですね。
頼む。
行き止まり。
Dang.
王の子よ。だが王母の子ではない。意味はわからないが明らかに拒絶だろ
前に来た時と同じ結果か。
う。ん？妙に真剣
I
な
was
顔
just
を
gonna
し
ask
てい
that.
る。
He seems real
チンに
serious.
転移を知ることはできないか。
帝は看板の指示に従って進んだ。
I still wanna know why he
間
took
違い
her.
はしなかったはずだ。なのに
Just the same.
正解にはたどり着けなかった。何か別の意図があったのか。部屋の数、選んだ扉の色か。
きっとローメンならわかるだろうね。
親父ならわかる。
He definitely
養
would
父な
have.
らわかるというのですか。
さてね、どうだろうね。
確かに親父の知識はすごい。でもお前には無理だと言われるのは腹が立つ。
All right.
It's all they're doing all this on purpose.
三つの扉。三つ
Come
の
on, Mau
色。
Mau, figure it out.
王の子よ。だが王母の子ではない。この言葉の真意は何だ。
She always does that.
無礼にも聞こえるかもしれませんが、一つよろしいでしょうか。
Speak, Mau Mau.
代々帝位を継いだのは目の悪い方が多かったのではありませんか。
確かにあまり良くなかったと聞いたことがある。だが先帝の目は良かったぞ。
やっぱりあの廟の中、もう一度通ることはできませんか。
まして、妃でも姫でもないだろう。
Not
ただ
yet.
の下女だもんな。
ならば妃に召し上げようか。羅漢の説得には骨が折れそうだが。
ご冗談を。
Surely you jest.
他の妃たちがどう思うことか。
それもそうだ。ならばお前が連れて行くか。
Yes.
それなら構わぬか。
首相がそうおっしゃるので。
Oh, I thought he meant like take her as like a wife.
さっき通った時は分からなかった。王母の子にしか選べない扉があるとしたら、
It's got something to do with the bad eyesight, right?
色に鍵があるはずだ。
Yeah, do you have to keep picking the same colors or just like shades of the color?
10個目。白、紫、緑の扉。汝、赤い扉を選べ。
赤い扉などないぞ。どういうことだ。
緑の扉を
緑。
くぐればわかります。
Okay.
ここは
I love how she just.
おめでとうございます。正しき道を選ばれたようで。その昔王母に選ばれた者は次の王になりました。その者はここに立ち民に宣誓することが決まりでした。誰もこの道を選ぶことができなかった時は正しき道を選ぶ妃を連れて再度この廟へやってきたと。
So Jinshi is the
正
next
しき血を受け継ぐ者がそれをなすわけですが、この度はどうも違うものが当ててしまったようで。
挑発してきたのはそっちなのに。なんだこのじじい。
Yeah, he did.
建国の物語では王母は暗闇も見通せる目を持っているということでした。この廟に選ばれし者、つまり王母の血を引く者は色の識別ができない目を持つということです。
Colorblind, huh?
色の識別が。
どういうことだ。
では先ほど私が選んだ扉の基準についてご説明を。最初は青、赤、緑の扉があり、赤い扉を通るなとありました。なら青でも緑でも正解なはずですが、王母の子は青を選ぶはずです。なぜなら赤と緑の区別がつかないから、確実に赤ではない扉を選ぶ。
ローメンならわかるだろうね。
裁縫に留学していた親父ならこの特性を知っていた
Yeah,
だろう。
he would have walked
あ
right
れ
through
は
that
そう
place.
いう意味だったか。次の扉も同じです。茶を通るなの指示で、茶と緑の区別がつかない場合、消去法で水色を選ぶでしょう。
しかし代々の皇帝にそんな特徴があれば気づきそうなものだが。
養父から聞いたことがあるのですが、色が判断できなくても慣れてしまえばどうにか対処できるので、案外周りにいても気づかないのだとか。そして
Yeah, there actually is a lot of people that
色の識別が
are
困難な
colorblind,
の
you
で
know?
目が利くとも聞きます。昔話には王母は藤吉よりやってきたものとある。彼女は色彩の判別が困難な特性を持ちながら、裁縫の地より従者と共にこの地へとやってきた。王母を祖としながら代々男子が皇位継承しているのは、この地の長を立てたやり方に従ったからだと思います。しかし王母の血族はそのまま自分たちの血が薄れ途絶えるのを良しとしなかった。王母の血を確実に後世に残す方法、それがこの選択の廟なのです。もし特性を持つ者がいなければ、王母に近しい血筋の者を妃として迎え、共に廟に入る。妃も廟に立ち入ることができるのはそのためだ。そうやって少しずつ国の中心に入り込んでいく。
Clever.
元いた長の存在を物語から追い出し、王母を祖にするほどに。やがて当時を知る者がいなくなれば、残った物語が真実となる。それはとても平和で気の長い乗っ取りだったわけだ。
Girl's really a genius, man.
子に伝わらないこともあります。それに血は濃くなりすぎても弊害が起こります。先帝のご兄弟が病で倒れられたのもそのせいかもしれません。
よもやこんな小娘が本当に謎解きするとは思いませんでした。
小娘。
王母がこの地を治められたのは類いまれな聡明さがあったからこそと言われております。この際血を薄めるのであれば、いっそこのようなものを取り込んでみては。
は？
Does he mean Mao
何を言って
Mao?
いるのだあの草
Bag
じ
of
じい。
bones.
それも面白いかもしれぬが、ラカンを敵に回したくはないし、何より胸周りが15センチほど足らない。
余計なお世話だ。
Whatever.
しかしお気をつけください。よその血が入ることを快く思わない連中も多いでしょ
分かっておるよ。
う。主情は分かっておられますでしょう。お気をつけください。
Awfully quiet
分か
there.
っている。
Did she just figure it out?
ものなんだ。
Or something, you know?
帝のお気に入りの宦官。それだけで済ま
It
せる
doesn't.
のは何か。誰だっていいか。知らぬが仏。そうい
She
うもの
always says
だ。
that. Damn it. That was a great episode.
That was a really good one.
I don't know why I thoroughly enjoyed that one so much.
Yeah.
I think it was just, I
The
love
three of them together.
That's mainly the main reason,
Yeah.
yes. That's what I was
And
going
the
to say.
Emperor is fucking cool as hell.
Yeah. From
He's
everything
like,
we've
but
seen.
I'll just make her my concubine then.
And then he's like, ha ha ha, I know.
Yeah. Well, that was only after Jinji was just like, huh? What's it? You're gonna piss off all the other concubines.
And then he's like, yeah, plus I don't want to piss off Locken.
Yeah.
Dude's crazy.
Plus, she needs 15 more centimeters in the chest.
Yeah, we all knew that.
She even knows that.
Yeah. But Jinshi's not into the big ones.
Nope.
All right, so my take on it is, because I think it was the last one I posted on YouTube, which would have been episode 20 of season 1, I think, something like that. But I know there was a lot of comments. I don't remember specifically what they were saying, but I feel like a lot of people are hinting that, like, Jinshi doesn't, because we're not supposed to, it's always vague, everything. And so I don't think even Jinshi knows the real truth, like I said earlier. I think the only one that really knew about the swap and everything that was true was Duo. I don't even know that the Emperor knows.
I mean, how could he not know? Like, Jinshi wasn't like a little baby in that flashback when, like, all of a sudden they made him switch to, or I don't know if they made him switch or if they told him the truth, but he said he thought he was
Well, that
the
goes,
Emperor's
I know what you're
son,
saying.
and now all of a sudden he finds out that he's his brother.
Well, okay, so yeah, I know what you're saying because this goes back to the season 1 when Mao Mao was trying to deduce it a little bit, and she was saying, or I think it was Mao Mao saying it, but she was saying how he was raised as the past Emperor's son, which would have been the case if he was swapped. And then after whatever, something happened, and then then all of a sudden he was back to the Emperor's brother and was kind of pushed aside. You remember what I'm talking about? I have to go back. I don't
I
remember
thought they were
specifically
just
what
talking
episode
about
it is.
that there was the swap.
No, there was a scene at some point where Mao Mao was talking about it, I think, where we saw like the little Jinshi, like that age, where we saw him in this one, where he was like growing up with life, like in a life as the Emperor's son, the then Emperor's son, and then after the other baby died with Duo is when things changed and he was back to not being the Emperor's son, I think. I'll have to find that scene and send it to you, just so,
Yeah,
or bring it up next time we
because
record.
it was. He obviously thought he was the current Emperor's son up until that age, and then he met the old lady and the old man.
No,
and
he
they
thought
told
he
him
was the
their
past
son.
Emperor's son.
He said the man that I thought was my father, they said is my brother, and that the old man and old woman the old man was his father, and the old woman was his grandmother.
No, it just doesn't. I know what you're saying because I'm
So
pretty sure you're right.
that would mean he would grow up thinking that the current emperor was his father until he was however old he was there. Let's call him 8. And then they switched him.
They told me that the man I always thought was my father was actually my brother. All right, I'm trying to relate it to the scene I was thinking about. Okay, so I must have been mistaken with how I thought I took that scene from season 1. Maybe what Mao Mao was saying was the fact that he was brought up as the prince's son, which would have made sense. Or, yeah. Well, no, because then when would the swap have happened? Then there was no swap then.
It would have just been not a swap. It would have been more, maybe his kid died and they were like, we're going to not tell everybody that he died and we'll make this one, or we'll tell him that your kid died and we'll make him I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it right now. They did it right now.
I know.
At this age, they taught him that old man was his father. Unless no, because when the swap happened, it was the prince's son that died.
Correct.
So,
Well, yeah, right. one way or another, Jinshi is definitely the current emperor's son.
Yeah.
Right? That's not even that's a fact. Or like very close to being a fact.
Yeah, because if the swap did happen,
Well, I guess it's not because it was all Mau Mau's you know what I mean? It was all what she was speculating at the time.
no,
is
based
we're
on what they're
basing-
saying right now, if he thought this guy was his father, so the only way, because let's say the swap did happen when they were babies,
Yeah.
and if that were the case,
Then he should be thinking that the past emperor was his father. That's where I'm confused.
not if he like if it was swapped and he grew up, if they swapped him and he grew up thinking this guy was father, but that couldn't happen because his son died. According to the reason for the swap was because of the death, right?
No, the swap happened before that. The swap happened like as soon as they were born, I think.
But they knew he was like sickly or something. Why would they swap him? Just because she thought it would have a better life?
Yes.
So then,
But it's the fact that right here, Jinshi even says, they told me that the man I always thought was my father. So then,
Right.
well, the one for his whole life up to that point, he thought that the current emperor right now was his father.
yeah, unless
Which
the
would make me
swap
think
unless the swap really did happen, right? And he actually is the old man's son, and they swapped him. So when he grew up, he was thinking this guy was his father. The prince was his father.
But he looks exactly like Duo.
Right.
And we know Duo.
No, I
had the-
agree. I agree that I think he's the emperor's son, because we can't confirm that this switch actually happened. We
I
can
know.
confirm
I said it
that
was fact,
this
but it's not.
that this switch just happened right now. This is a switch
Well,
that we can confirm. They switched him from thinking that this guy was his father to it's his brother.
The problem is, I think the people behind the scenes know the truth, but Jinshi doesn't really. I think they're all like just feeding him what to believe, and he doesn't really quite
The
know.
emperor definitely knows. Like he's too old at this point, where he's had a son now for at least 7 years. Jinshi was probably like 11 there, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how old he was. I'm not good with like.
And then who was
Kids'
the
ages,
old man?
but-
Who were the old man and old woman that were supposed to be? That were. He was eventually told that
That was
old
the
lady was
previous
his
emperor.
grandmother.
That was the previous emperor, and I guess his mother.
Was it?
Yeah. How
Right.
else would it be? Why else would he switch to the old man being his father?
Okay, so now that I have that thought in my head,
He's the emperor's father and the emperor's mother right now.
you know what I think
And
we're
the
getting
emperor's
confused, or at least I'm
mother.
confused by. I think
No, the emperor's. I don't know.
no, you're right, because the thing that I think is holding me up this whole time is the fact that we're basing all this off of Mau Mau speculations, which
May not be true.
May not be. I think she's got the right pieces in play, but the
I
details
think the
aren't
swap
accurate.
happened now, not as a baby.
Yes.
Switch, because there definitely is a switch happening right now. Or there was some kind of switch that happened because he thought somebody was his father, and now he's finding out somebody else is his father.
I think you're right. I think the swap didn't actually happen at birth. I think it happened, like you said, right here. Like the baby. Well, the baby
Maybe-
died only at a year old, though.
That's
know
what
what I
I
mean?
that's what I had thought. Like, but then Jinshi, if it was Jinshi that didn't die, he would have grown up with the emperor, with the older emperor, knowing that the older emperor, thinking that the older emperor was his father, and then they would have had to tell him that the current emperor was his father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not adding up either.
Like, why would they do that?
If there's
when
only
he's that
been
much
one
older?
child since they were 1 year old,
Right.
then what's this swap happening right now?
Why is it?
What's this
what took
change
so
in
long?
Jinshi's mentality that's happening at fucking 10 years old?
Or not even him. Like, what was their decision that,
Right.
you know? And because it seemed like the old emperor was like trying to get to Jinshi as a kid to tell him like the truth or something. Didn't it seem like that? Like where the old man was like going after him, like not going after him, but like trying to get to him to like tell him the truth, and they took him away.
Yeah.
That's the way I took that scene. If that was supposed to be the old emperor, which I think it was.
Yeah.
Like he was, maybe it's the current emperor, like he was behind all this, and then the dowager, because she was the one that pulled him away from the old man.
Yeah. She was really in charge there. It was his mother, right?
The dowager is the current emperor's mother, yes. So the wife to the, and we know she would have been younger than
So,
the
but why
old
would that
emperor.
make her his grandmother and him his father?
Well, no, you're confusing it. The grandmother, there was two women.
Oh, there was two women?
There was an old woman and then the dowager who was the one that
okay.
stopped. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, we thought, like, they just told us something, but, like, they actually.
Well, she
just
would have been a
confused
dowager
it.
too.
They
the
just
old mother.
confused it even more.
Well, I think they're kind of starting to hint at what really happened.
Well, they're starting to, but now I'm even more confused.
Yes and no. I think I'm equally confused, but it's just we know the same amount. It's just a different amount. It's different details.
Yeah, I guess.
We were on this side.
Now
Now
they
we're
just
over
added
here.
a whole nother factor to it, and like it's like okay now.
It's like them telling
Now I'm
us
real
like,
confused. It's like because
what
I
you
always
thought you
believed in
knew.
Mau Mau. Yeah.
yeah, what you thought you knew. Well, that's why it makes sense too. Why all the people in the comments on YouTube have been saying like, don't forget, like everything Mau Mau thinks is just speculation, and her dad always tells her to think in whatever.
Yeah, right, but she's always right.
Well, obviously not.
We don't know.
I think that's
We
pretty
can still
clear.
find out more details.
Well, the truth, this confirms.
No, she's still right. She's just wrong on her timeline.
Well, right. That's what I mean.
So she's still right.
But from us seeing her timeline, that changes things a lot. And no, she's not, because well, I guess that goes in hand with the timeline, because it's just weird that Jinshi.
There couldn't be two swaps.
No, I don't think there was.
So, like, if she was thinking that the swap happened at birth, but it actually happened now, that's the only error in her speculation.
Yeah, I guess the thing that's still confusing is that why did they do it
That's what we need
when
to know.
he was
What happened?
like say 6+ years after the original emperor's son died, when Feng Ming accidentally killed him. Feng Ming killed the baby thinking that was Duo's son, who wasn't really Duo's son. And then, see, I think that's what it is. I think because the past emperor was so old, our current emperor now was trying to make his way up. So he figured, all right, if the old emperor's on his way out, I need an heir, and I already have one right here. But I can't let people know that, because that would muddle things, because people would start to not believe who that kid really is, because they say, oh, where has he been this? You know what I mean? That's not really your son, so he can't be the next heir. You know what I'm trying to say? So he's just keeping it a secret right now and saying that he's actually his brother. You know what I'm trying to hint at?
Kinda, but
Like back then, the emperor was so old and like on his way out that our current emperor was like setting up pieces. He's like, all right, this guy's on his way out, so let me say I have an heir here, but nobody can really find out that truth yet, at least. So let me just go with he's my brother, because then I have to explain what actually happened, which I can't do. And then I could just say he's my brother and put him in the rear pal. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Not the rear pals part yet, but at least say that it's his brother.
yeah, because I can't. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not adding up. Because like you wouldn't. Yeah, I guess it would. After this swap is the one that's no. I guess it's not. This isn't a swap. It's just changing Jinshi's belief.
Which is kind of
What could have happened is like the old emperor had the kid died.
they're both
Maybe
like a
there
year
wasn't
old.
a swap, and maybe this emperor was just like.
Well, I think
was
that
like rather than have everybody know that you lost your son, just take my give you can have this one, like you take mine, and we'll just say mine died. But why would you do that?
Hold on, I'm trying to think. So because I what you just said is, I think you're right, but I think the emperor. So
Or they didn't want to tell. Maybe they didn't want to tell the emperor that his son died, so they just swapped the babies, pretended that the current emperor's son died. No, but that one
well, no, because
wouldn't
Jinshi
be
growing
right.
up thought the current emperor now
was his father.
So there was zero swap.
Yeah, there would have been no swap until, but we know of a baby dying when they were one. I don't know, man. We just gotta keep. We could do this for another 3 more hours.
I think it's kind of. I think I might be on the right path. At least I'm thinking that. Like I said, I think it's that emperor was clearly on his way out. Didn't have as much power anymore. It seemed like the dowager was kind of helping the current emperor now do whatever. We need to meet her too. We haven't seen her once, and I think she knows what happened at that time, because it would have been her son that died.
Yeah.
So does she know? I don't know. One way or another, the current emperor knows way more. He knows the
I think
full
the current
truth.
emperor knows everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's a guarantee.
And
that-
Mamo just solidified her place in his heart forever.
Yeah, 100%.
In everyone's heart. She just went through a shrine that nobody's been able to go through in
Which is good, because we know that Jinshi's supposed to be finding a wife, and I think if he tried to ask the emperor, would it be okay? I know she's only supposed to be a servant girl, but I
Emperor
think
just almost made her a concubine right now.
right, that's what I mean. Like,
He had
so
to be
like,
talked out of it.
can I take her as my wife? And he would be more willing to say
He's
probably
gonna be
yes.
like, I don't know why you haven't already, dipshit.
Well, and he also knows the truth. Obviously, he knows that Locken's her dad, so he knows who she really is. So
Yeah.
he knows that she actually has good standing too. Not
Which
that
is
that means
fun.
much, but
Yeah. It's like they'll make Locken mad. It's fun that like everybody kind of,
you jest.
I don't want to say respect, but like they respect Locken. Like
They
even
do,
the
because
Emperor's just like, I don't know.
It's
This will piss Locken off, but like we can
and they
still
don't-
do it.
I don't think they're afraid of him. I think they just
No.
don't want to deal with him.
Right? They know he's a handful.
Right, exactly. Damn it, man! I want to.
That was a really good episode, though. I really like that.
I know, because they gave us some answers to. Well,
No.
they
They
made
changed
us
our
think more.
questions.
Yes, they
Yeah.
made us look at things differently a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
that was good.
Very. Anyway, guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. See you next time.
See you later.